So for today's presentation, I'm going to be sharing some about strategies for applying AI tools in teaching and what that looks like in the classroom. So classroom AI tools, first I need to identify what is AI, artificial intelligence, and the way that it can be used in the classroom is that it offers a wide range of ways to serve teachers and students in education. So for example, it can create classroom materials, save time, increase engagement and exploration, and it can also be used as a general education tool. So the four main classroom AI apps that I'm going to focus on today include ChatGPT, ClassPoint, Synthesia, and PowerPoint. ChatGPT, just to highlight a couple of the main points about each one, ChatGPT can assist with grading, creating rubrics and assignments, and creating examples. ClassPoint takes boring lessons and makes them more interactive for students to engage with. And then Synthesia is an AI video generator to create professional grade educational videos. And then PowerPoint, although this is not an AI tool, it has AI capabilities. It offers a voice live captioning ability, and so I'm going to be focusing on that element of PowerPoint today. Okay, so the first one I'm going to focus on is ChatGPT, and the benefits of ChatGPT in the classroom is that it's a time saver. It provides valuable feedback for students. It's really easy to use, and it can create classroom materials for the teacher. Some challenges include that the lessons that it creates may need to be modified to suit the teacher and the student demographics. It's a very generalized program. So it needs to be looked over. You can't just fully rely on it. There are some ethical considerations, particularly when it comes to grading and what looks to be correct in grading ethics. And then there's always room for error. Another challenge that I don't have listed here that I would include would be the student use of ChatGPT and how oftentimes students can use it to take a shortcut rather than actually learning the skill themselves. So it's just important that we teach kids how to use it appropriately and for the right uses. So some strategies for integration of ChatGPT in the classroom. I teach English language arts, and so I made all of these examples according to how I would use them in the English classroom. The first one being lesson planning. So ChatGPT can provide a foundational structure for English language arts lessons. So if you ask it to create a lesson for teaching verb tense, it has the capability of doing that. It can also quickly gather information and examples about particular topics. So if you're talking about verb tense, you can say, hey, I need an example to compare past and present verb tense to explain to students the difference between the two. So a way that I would use it in the English curriculum would be asking ChatGPT to enter content information into a lesson plan format to submit each week. That's something that can be time consuming. And so when you have all of the right materials, all you have to do is send it the materials. It'll put it into the format that can easily be shared with your administrator. ChatGPT also has a grading ability. So it can generate detailed rubrics based on the criteria that you ask for. The program will also provide feedback for students. This is a key component because it's important that we provide feedback to students that doesn't just tell them what they did wrong. However, we need to tell them what they also did correct and how to make improvements. And ChatGPT does a good job of offering that feedback. And that's how I would use it in the English curriculum, would ask it to create a rubric, insert the essay, ask it to grade the essay, provide feedback back to students. This also has the capability for resource allocation. So asking simple questions can gather information quickly. It's like a really quick Google, and it's way more refined. This quality would benefit students in research use as well. So in the English class, it would be like if I need to give students a curated list of resources, I can ask ChatGPT to help me with that. And if students have to curate resources, they can use that resource as well. And then administrative tasks. This is something that not just in the English curriculum it could be used, but it could be used in all realms of education. So creating a class syllabus, writing emails to parents, um, anything that requires professional language, that this would help eliminate the thought process that it would take to get to that end goal. So these are some uses of how to use it in the classroom. I've included here an example of how I have used ChatGPT. I have asked it to make a rubric to grade sixth grade essays on beginner level and make it out of 50 points. And so below you can see a portion of the rubric that it created. After this, I was able to insert the essay, and then it provided me with direct feedback, and it graded the rubric, graded using the rubric step by step, and gave me a total number out of 50 points that the student received to help eliminate even that step in the process of getting it into the grade book. Okay, the next app that I'm going to talk about today is ClassPoint. So what is ClassPoint? This is a app that can work well with PowerPoint. So this video goes into deeper detail about how it can function and what it's used for. But just to go on to the next slide, include some benefits of ClassPoint. It is a time saver. Creating questions for tests and quizzes, it can be a lot of work. And so ClassPoint helps take that out of the teacher's hands and makes it a seamless process. It can be used hand in hand with Microsoft PowerPoint, which a lot of us use anyway for delivering lectures or lessons. It improves clarity of information, and it increases student engagement. Okay, some challenges to include about ClassPoint. It doesn't include timestamps. So if a student goes back in and answers questions at a date that you don't want them to do it, it won't give you that proof of the timestamp. And then caption word limitations. So if you want to include a caption, you cannot make it as wordy as you want. It has to fit in a limited amount of characters. So some strategies for integration for ClassPoint is creating interactive quizzes. So as an English teacher, I use PowerPoint all the time to deliver content, whether it be on a novel, a short story, background information, grammar, all sorts of things that I have to present to the class. I put it in a PowerPoint format, and ClassPoint gives me the ability to make interactive quizzes. So as the PowerPoint is being presented, students would then interact throughout the lesson and they would answer questions throughout. This would help to test their knowledge based on that content, knowing if I need to move forward or stay behind. Hand in hand with that, it also has the capability of an AI quiz generator. So it could develop quizzes based on the material in the PowerPoint, and it doesn't necessarily have to be interactive, but it can be summative as well. Gamification, so it can take the information from the PowerPoint and turn it into a fun game. I know in a lot of classrooms we like to use things like Kahoot and Blooket, and this will follow suit in a very similar process to that. But rather than making the questions, it will do that for you. And it's also used as a presentation tool. So you can send this program the information that you want included in the presentation, and it will generate the presentation for you. And so in the English class, if I have a particular historical background time period that I want to share, I can put in a Word document of all the information that I want to be presented to the class, and it will put it into a presentation format. So ultimately saving time and helping to create engaging lessons for students. Okay, Synthesia. It has multiple templates to choose from. The main component of this is that it helps give a human element to something that a human didn't create. And I think it's kind of cool because after watching these videos that were created with this program, they really seemed real and it makes it feel more personalized. So some benefits of this program: it's user-friendly. It creates independent education so people can take time and do these things and follow along at their own pace. It's great for people not wanting to be in front of a camera. So if somebody has important information to deliver, it's not vital that that person be the one speaking because it will generate a human character for you. The voices that are included are all professional and they sound real. They don't sound like robots. And it offers multiple language options. Some challenges that are included with this program is that it lacks advanced features. So it's very basic, but that is also a positive in the way that it's easy to use. It has limited customization. So you only have a select few options to choose from. It sometimes is buggy, so they've worked on working out the bugs, but ultimately there's still some bugs in the program. And then pricing may be an issue. It's not necessarily a cheap program. So some strategies for integration would be educational videos. So it has the ability to take information and turn it into a professional educational video. This, I think, would be great as an English teacher, and I taught through the pandemic, and I would have used this had I had the option to quickly create videos that would have made students feel very connected in the classroom without having to see my face or me having to take the time to create those videos with my face. And so that would have been a benefit of using this. And then as well as just lectures. So just recording your own lecture to be able to share out multiple times of the day without having to say the same thing over and over. Although this isn't ideal if you have a person that's in the classroom, but a way that this could be really beneficial is if you have a student who is English as a second language and they need the information from the day, but you're unable to deliver it in their spoken language. This has the ability to translate your information into another language that can be shared with students easily. And they can be listening to that lecture while you're giving your lecture in English. And so it's like a two birds, one stone, makes things fast and easy for both parties involved. So now PowerPoint live caption. I think I learned about this program a couple of years ago, and I think that it has the ability to work wonders in the classroom. So some benefits is that it offers multiple language options. It can provide more accessible experience for attendees. People can watch the presentation without audio, so that makes it more convenient. And it also highlights key points for those that struggle to hear. So those are some of the benefits for live captioning. Some of the challenges that are included is that it sometimes won't keep up with the speaker's talking speed. So if somebody's talking too quickly, it doesn't necessarily like that. Accents can throw off the caption. I live in the South. I sometimes say things with a bit of a twang and it can throw off the captioning. And so it can be confusing to those that are relying on the caption. And then another challenge is that not all languages are included. I teach at a school where we have a high Spanish population, and so Spanish is a language that's very easy to use on here. But I also work at a school that has a high Marshallese population, and Marshallese is not one of the most common languages, and so it's missing that feature. So some strategies for integration, translation, just like I said about our Spanish population, as students that sit in the classroom and they're expected to learn the information that's being presented. However, they don't understand anything that's being said to them. The live captioning option gives the ability of when giving a PowerPoint presentation, you turn that on and it will live translate everything that's being said so that those students have the ability to stay in the know with the information. Although they're not getting the audio portion of the lecture, they are able to follow along visually. And so that's something that's very quick, easy, and it helps everybody be on the same page in the room. It also just offers better communication. So some people are not great at being auditory learners and they need a visual. And so the ability to have a live caption will hold attention and it will give them something to look at if they're taking notes or if simply that's just how they learn better. So students in the English classroom all the time. Sometimes it's like you get distracted when you hear people talking, but the captioning option provides them a way that they can stay hooked. And so here are my resources that I pulled information from.